All right, here we go. This is going to be my first reaction to The Weeknd. I know his voice pretty well. I've taught his songs over the years many times to my students, but I haven't heard any of this new stuff that he has coming out. This is from his Sao Paulo concert that happened last week, I think. It's been blowing up online, so how can I not listen to it? My name's Tim. I've been a vocal instructor for the last 24 years. Building voices is my life's work. I was a professional singer before that: opera, musical theater, pop, house music, electropop, rock. I've sung professionally in almost every style of singing. If you want to find out more about me, here's my website. I've got an amazing team of voice teachers that teach with me. We give voice lessons all over the world online. Last thing, I'm so grateful that there's been so much growth with the channel, but we've had a problem because the community page is just overrun and there's just no organization to how people are chatting with each other. So you recommended that I start a Patreon, which I did a few days ago, and it's going really well already over there. We've got a lot of community chats happening, people recommending songs for me to react to. Come join up over there. I've got some free options for chats over there, and I also have an exclusive ambassador circle, which is basically like my inner circle. If you join the ambassador circle, that means you're a hardcore fan of artists and music, and you're really passionate about getting me to react to certain songs, as well as getting some exclusive content, some deeper breakdowns from me, and some goodies for those of you that are singers. I'm going to have some warm-up playlists and lots of fun stuff like that. So without further ado, that's enough chat. Let's jump in, and I'm going to listen all the way through. Then I'm going to go back and break down note by note what he's doing.
Oh no, yeah. Traffic guards while we are racing home. Melted lights cover the open road. I hope we make it, 'cause I've been chasing another odyssey. I can't wait to see your face crash when we're switching lanes. My love's beyond the pain, but if I miss the rain, we're dancing in the flames. It's indescribable. was raging, but you're so beautiful, and it's amazing, 'cause I can taste it, our final odyssey.
All right, Weeknd. Woo! All right, so what a beautiful song. Dancing in the flames. Like, the hook is already stuck in my head. That's always a good sign that it's a good song. The song is beautiful. I just have to say, my first impression out of it, the first thing that was jumping in my mind was I was just craving a little bit, just hearing Weeknd's beautiful voice. You know, like, he's got a gorgeous voice, and there's so much processing on his vocals here that I kind of feel like I'm just craving, like, hearing him sit there raw with no vocal effects processing, no anything, just like singing with his gorgeous voice. You know, I just have to be honest, I was craving that a little bit listening through. A lot of interesting stuff happening here, and the song is really catchy, and the Weeknd sounds amazing here, of course. We're going to go back, and I'm going to break it down note by note. Okay, here we go. All right, so first off, how can I not comment on this 80s type pad synth sound that we have going on? We've got like an electronic piano sound with a really old school sounding 80s orchestral synthesizer type of a sound plugged in. The Weeknd loves his 80s production. It's so good. I like the 80s too. So.
Oh, no. Yeah.
His improvisational ability and his riffing ability is second to none. He's a killer.
Traffic guards while we are racing home.
Oh. All right, so you can hear, as I mentioned before, the Weeknd uses a lot of vocal effects processing in his singing. And that's a part of his thing. Totally cool. That's his stylistic thing. The vocal effects processing he's using here so far, he's got a ton of reverb. Reverb is that vocal effect that you put on which gives you this big sense of space, like you're singing in an arena or a cathedral or something like that. Now, I know he's singing in a big space here, but that's not where this sense of big spaceness is coming from. It's actually a digital effect that he's putting on his voice.
Mountain lights cover the open road.
This effect, it makes it feel so big. It makes it feel so expansive. It makes it feel so zoomed out in the message.
I hope we make it, 'cause I've been chasing another odyssey.
Ah, okay. Weeknd is singing with a relatively low amount of compression. Compression is that dial on the voice where you get that grit and edge on your voice. He's not adding that much edge on his voice. He just has a little bit of lateral squeeze on his tone. He also has a decent amount of the brassiness in his voice, which we call the thyroarytenoid muscle. It's like bop, bop, bop. It's that brassiness. He's got a pretty decent amount of energetic commitment so far in the sound that he's using in this song. He also is doing some airflow releasey stuff at the ends of phrases. He's letting the vocal folds slightly abduct, and he's letting the airflow release on the way out. A little bit of fast vibrato here and there, some riffing. That's kind of overall the tone that I'm hearing from him.
I can't wait to see your face.
One thing about the Weeknd which is so unique is even when he's in his power voice, there's still a sweetness and a warmth in his tone. It's like basically he's mastered his mixing. Mixing is the art form within the art form of singing where you're trying to work on getting the bop, 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 that brassiness in your voice to mix in with the the sweet, warm flutiness of the windy aspect of your voice. Learning to sort of paint with those two aspects of quality in your vocal tone. The Weeknd is a master of going back and forth between this brass and this wind and finding all of those subtle settings in between those two sounds. Listen for that.
Crash when we're switching lanes. My love's beyond the pain.
So do you hear that? It's a little bit warm and windy, but a little bit brassy at the same time.
But if I miss the rain, we're dancing in the flames.
And sometimes that gives his voice a hint of nasality. It just feels like there might be a little bit of nasal resonance in his sound. It's not a bad thing. It's not a criticism of his tone. But that's just something that I hear quite a bit in the Weeknd's tone. Like right there, that's a great example. Like that. That's a super fronted sound.
It's indescribable.
Hear that? All right, so now we have the arpeggiator starting. An arpeggiator is a synthesizer effect where you hold down a chord. A chord is basically many notes played together at once, which create its own sound. When you use an arpeggiator, it takes those notes that you've played and it plays them all out one at a time. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. That's an arpeggiator. You've probably heard it if you listen to electronic music. He's got one happening right here.
Traffic dies while we are racing home.
I love arpeggiators, by the way. I used to produce a lot of electronic music, and arpeggiators are fun because there's so much chaos in them.
Melting lights over the open road.
I like the energy of this song.
I hope we make it, 'cause I've been chasing somebody.
Did you hear when he goes, Sao Paulo, when he yells that high? That shows how high his voice is. There's so much upper extension on his voice. It's insane.
We're dancing in the flames. It's indescribable.
I'm not going to go too deep into this because there's so much to talk about in these songs. But as far as the meaning goes, like this definitely feels like, I'm in a world of chaos right now, but I've got you. And we're going to make the most of it. And we're going to celebrate our lives, even though it feels like life is chaos right now. We're going to dance in the flames. I mean, that's a little bit of the first take, context, emotional world of the song that I'm getting. What are you taking as a meaning for yourself from this song? Like there's a little bit of a levity to it, even though we are dancing in the flames. You know what I mean? It's kind of nice. It's like a little, let's make the most of this type of a thing.
Words can't heal, they say on the radio. Oh no, so grab the wheel, want you to be in control.
Do you hear his agility? He is so good at snapping his voice around quickly. He's a master of agility. A lot of times people compare him to Michael Jackson, and that's one of the things that he overlaps brilliantly with when it comes to Michael Jackson, like super agile.
We're dodging headlines, and you say, hold tight. Another Odyssey. 1, 2, 3, I can't wait to see your face.
I love that he actually was speaking and yelling out there. That really shows that he's singing this live, you know? And this is my whole thing is like, when we're at this level and we've got all these vocal effects and things going on, it does make it hard to know how live a performance is. Literally, he could right here, if he didn't do those yelling out Sao Paulos, this whole thing could be tracked. It could just be like a backing track playing. And in fact, I would argue that even still, it could be a backing track playing. And he just had the mic on for those yelling parts. But I'm not saying that that's what he's doing here. I actually do think that he's singing live. I'm just saying that when you put this much vocal effects on your stuff, it gives the option to create illusions for the audience as to how much you're actually using your voice. And I'm a big fan of live, raw, human being singing. So, I just have to at least comment on that aspect of it. But again, that being said, I do think he's singing all of these notes live. All right. So what can we say? I mean, that's spectacular Weekend. That is some beautiful singing. His voice sounds amazing. Lots of reverb, sounds digitized a bit, but that's the Weekend sound. That's his vibe. He's this spatial, big type of a singer. And, I'm a big fan of this stuff. I love electronic music, and I think he sounds great here. I really do. I'm excited to check out that acoustic version of this, too. I think that I can get a little bit more of an intimate sound from him there, a little less vocal effects processing. Maybe I'll check that one out next. Maybe I'll react to that one next. Anyway, that was super fun to listen to. If you like this reaction, subscribe, click the little notification to stay up to date. Come over, join the community over at Patreon. And if you're looking for voice lessons, hit me up on my website, okay? I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.